technocratic.
Everybody have a side. PNP or GLP.
Well, I just want to say greetings to the Portland Spice Massive on this live. And, I'm sure we have people from both P and no P on, so enough respect to each and every one. And it's a pleasure to be here, Colin.
Welcome, Comrade Leader. A number of things I've always wanted to talk to you about. You came into the political scene, thrust into politics as a businessman. And when you became leader of the party, you were trailing miserably behind the bro god, the Honorable Prime Minister. And it was a case of an unknown in politics. Normally, our leaders come out of people who in the party long time, come up through the ranks. People don't know you, never knew of you.
True.
You are now leading in the polls, so a little more people know a little more about you. What it is that you'd want the people of Jamaica to know about Mark Golding enter into politics to serve this country?
Yeah, I think your analysis is accurate. I became leader in November 2020. And although I'd been in public life from 2007, when I became an opposition senator, Portia Simpson Miller, Sister P, invited me to be one of the 8 opposition senators in 2007. The Senate is a relatively, low-profile political organ in the sense that it's more technocratic, it's more focused on the details of legislation and that kind of thing, which actually suited me well at the time because I'm a lawyer by profession, and I've always been interested in drafting and more on commercial transactions, but it was easy to shift my orientation to the kind of material that comes to Parliament. So I wasn't well known. I was treasurer of the party at one point. I was a spokesperson at one point. And then when we won the elections in 2011, December, I became Minister of Justice. And again, people who follow the politics would know who I was. But the average person out there who's just struggling to survive and doesn't think politics 24/7 probably didn't know, they may have heard the name, but wouldn't really know who I am. So I entered the House of Representatives in 2017 as the MP for South St. Andrew when Omar Davis retired. And I was persuaded really to put myself forward, which was a big move for me because, to be very honest, Colin, I had never seen myself as going the route of becoming a full-fledged politician, I came into this thing relatively late because in 2007, when I became a senator, as I said, I was in my 40s, and before that, my own involvement in politics was really as a supporter, of people who I knew well and who were in the politics. I would lend a hand. I was very interested in it, but I was not active. So when I took that step in 2017, it was a big move for me. And, I'm big on the people of South St. Andrew because they have blessed me with their support and love. And, I respect them to the max. It is the cradle of Jamaican popular music coming out of Trenchtown and its environs. And, I regard that foundation of my political movement then as a very important thing. So 2017, I became an MP again, just one of 63 in opposition, not in government at that time. So again, the political class would know, who I was, but the average person didn't.
You mean 2007?
2017 is when I became an MP,
2007.
I became a senator.
Yeah. You were a senator before, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But
yes.
The Senate thing is a Friday morning, Friday meeting. It's just 21 people in there. It is not it's not the cut and thrust in the same way as representational politics is.
Right.
So 2017 was a big step for me. And then after we contested the 2020 elections and we were badly beaten.
Yes.
Dr. Phillips said, well, he was stepping back. And so there was a vacancy. And my colleagues prevailed on me to put myself forward. So at that point, when I became leader of the party, and it was a contested internal election, which I was the person who was chosen. I came in as a relative unknown in terms of the national profile. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So when I walk on the road, everybody would know who I was. You understand me? So I was aware of that. But who I am just a regular person, born and grew in Jamaica. I grew up
Ever dreamed of becoming the Prime Minister of Jamaica before you enter the politics?
Maybe as a teenager, I was interested in politics, and maybe, in the same way that I probably dream of playing cricket for the West Indies or playing football for Jamaica. Maybe I would have, in the political realm, that would have been a fantasy at times, but it was never a burning ambition, But it was something I probably had thought about, in one's wildest dreams, so to speak,
And then becoming member of parliament of your constituency, which is a PNP bastion, was pretty easy. Becoming the opposition leader now and challenging for government, was that a rude awakening of the crassness of the politics at this stage now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is a totally different thing. Being the opposition leader or a party leader relative to being a member of parliament, it is a step. It's a large step up from where I was before, because you become the focus of attention. You become the focus of people's expectations and hopes. And you also become the focus of attack from your opponents. And in the era that we are in now, of pervasive social media and other communication channels, which are really unregulated and where people can say anything they like, informed or uninformed, malignant or honest, it lends itself to a kind of chaotic kind of discourse. So I have felt, I think, the brunt of that, and it was so I had to stand up, and I had to kind of firm up myself and go through. And part of what I've done in doing that is to go on the ground, travel the country, meet people, and just touch flesh, as it were, shake hand, hug up the ladies them, and make people kind of feel my vibes. And it has been a good experience. And as you can see from the polls that you referred to, it is bearing fruit. But your original question was, I think it was like, who am I?
Yes.
So I was just saying, I'm just a regular Jamaican person, born here, grew here.
Oh, you have to be regular. People say you're rich. People say the Prime Minister was making some statements after people getting wealthy. And there are views out there that he's talking about you getting wealthy.
Okay, so I'm not going to say I haven't been successful in my endeavors when I was in private life. I have been successful. I wasn't born rich. My father was a university professor. And at a time when academics at the University of the West Indies weren't particularly well paid, So although he himself had some resources, he didn't live that life. He lived the life of a regular university professor type person. I grew up on the campus, with the children of other academics. And then next door was Hermitage, which is a low-income community, Augustown. Below that, youth them from around those communities and us used to role play football and ride bicycle and, climb tree and all of the things that children do. And then as a teenager now, kind of broke out little, start got dance and got it. I love music. I'm quite a music.
I hear that they used to call you Radigan.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was really my brethren at UWI campus now, because I used to flex on campus, even though I was not attending UWI at the time. But them you giving me that name, So for a good while, that was what I was known as, amongst those friends, So yeah, I mean, so that is why I said I'm a regular person, in the sense that how I live my life as a youngster coming up was, I'm not saying I was in any way suffering, no. I was privileged, yes, but I didn't really move with the privileged class of people. I've never moved with the privileged class of people. I've always moved with my peers on campus and youths from, I would say, from the ghetto, who have, that is how I've always lived my life. But then when I finished university now and started to work, because I was interested in finance and economics, although I was a lawyer, I found myself doing the type of work that generated, a good amount of income for myself and my family at the time. And then, of course, we started DB&G, myself and two other friends, Peter Bunting and Chris Daring. And that was a successful business. It was an investment business, a finance services company. And, it did very well. And eventually we sold it to Scotiabank in 2006. And that gave me some financial security at the time.
All of that you mentioned, opposition leader, was in the public.
Yes.
So the people of Jamaica know clearly how you make your money.
Yeah, man. My DB&G was a publicly listed company.
Yeah.
So all of its audited financials were published every year, and it has the annual report. It had to file an annual report every year. Mm-hmm.
You and your brethren them set up a company.
Yes.
And it work.
Yes.
And it make money.
Yes.
And Scotiabank see it and like it.
Yes.
And buy it.
Yes.
And make a money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in every newspaper. On every news. So
yeah. If you go on the internet now.
Like you see in Bolt.
Yeah.
We know how you make your money.
Yeah, man. That is exactly right. And even if you go on the internet now and search that transaction, when it's still there, the material is still there, the offering document, the pricing of everything, how much everybody got is all there. So yeah, it's quite transparent and so on. So, but what that sale and the financial security it enabled me to do was to say, all right, so I've had my working career now in the private sector, doing, financial transactions as a lawyer for clients and also as a businessman in DB&G. And we had started Proven in 2010, which is still going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we had the expertise and we had built a reputation of excellence in the field, we saw an opportunity to establish another one. And 3 years after we sold DB&G to Scotia, we started Proven, which is really a regional company now. It invests across the region. It is in a number of territories in the Caribbean and even beyond. And, although I'm not as involved in it as I was in DB&G, I am still, part of the team that guides it along. So, and that has been a very successful business as well.
But that leads me right into this question, Comrade, and I still want to go back to where you were, but I have to ask you that question. Yeah.
Sure.
When you become Prime Minister, how you going to deal with those issues?
Right. Well, when I became Minister of Justice, how I dealt with it at that time was I came off of the board that I was on and the committee that I served on. I just recused myself. I went on a leave of absence for the period of my engagement, So I would have to
actively running that.
No, I wasn't involved at all at that stage. For those 4 years, I just take with myself, so to speak. Because there are others there who are, who
and
can
when you become Prime Minister, you have to take with yourself from Proven.
Yes, I will have to. And I've done it before and I will do it again. Whatever is required in order to satisfy the public that there is no reason why, of concern in that area, I will do. That is a gift.
Like how you and your brethren would set up DB&G and juggle and tree you to deal with them thing and make some money. You think a Prime Minister should be juggling like that while being Prime Minister?
No, I don't think so. Being Prime Minister is a full-time job and you must be focused on that. The only other issues you might have are family-related issues which you can never get away from.
Because as a family man,
as a family man.
Right.
Yeah, family is family. But when it comes to work as a Prime Minister, that must be your focus. That's not to say you can't have what I call passive investments. If you have saved money over time and you own some stocks or you own some whatever, that's fine. But to be actively involved in building a business and doing multiple transactions and running 28 bank accounts, not right. Something wrong.
And actively involved in buying stocks while being Prime Minister? You think a Prime Minister should have buy stocks at that time?
No, I don't. I don't think the Prime Minister should be active in the markets trading. No. If you have a portfolio, you either just leave it as it is, or if it's a personal portfolio, or you can put it into some kind of blind trust where it's managed by other people and they have full discretion over it and you have no say for the period of that while you're in public life. You can't be because every time you step into the marketplace as Prime Minister, there's a potential conflict of interest because you have agencies that ultimately report to you that will have an impact on the businesses that you're investing in or selling. So it is, and that's why this whole way in which this government operates is problematic, because they engage in as if they're private citizens while they're running the country. And when I say private citizens, doing the things that people have no responsibility to the public are doing. And that is a problem.
All right, so let's go back to proven. I don't want to be all over the place, but
yes.
I want to hear about you before I go into the politics, because we have to talk a little about the politics. But the things that people don't know about you, people are speculating, and they are saying that Proven is not a Jamaican company. Talk to us about that.
As I said, Proven is a regional business. So it has some business in Jamaica that it does. It has a securities dealer, wealth management company here. It also has done some real estate development here. But it does it owns a manufacturing business in Barbados. It has a banking interest in Cayman and St. Lucia. It is a business that's both in the financial and real sectors. The main real sector activity that it does is, as I said, manufacturing, and it manufactures animal feed and cooking oil and those things in Barbados. It also does real estate development, not just in Jamaica, elsewhere, and it does financial services. That's what it does.
Where's your head office?
The head office is in St. Lucia. It was established from day one as a St. Lucia-based operation. And
you do other business in St. Lucia?
Yeah, we have a bank in St. Lucia as well. Yeah.
And listeners and viewers, remember, Mark Jefferson Golden is coming into politics as a businessman. The fact that you're not a career politician, does that affect your ability to lead the People's National Party?
I think it gives me a perspective which is valuable. You know, I'm somebody who knows what it takes to be successful in business and how to run a successful business. And I've had a lot of experience in managing businesses through all type of crises, from the 90s when there was a financial sector meltdown through the 2008 global financial crisis and many things in between. So I'm not a career politician. I'm primarily a lawyer. That is my core competence. I'm a commercial and corporate lawyer, but I have a long standing exposure and understanding of finance because of the type of work I've done. And I think that's an asset. That will be an asset to Jamaica. I think it's an asset to the PNP, because it's part of what I've brought to the table is, you know, managing the party in the way we manage it now, you know, which is, as you've seen, bearing fruit. So, you know, it is, to my mind, the country needs people who have experience and expertise to run it. Why do you think Mr. Holness draw for Nigel Clark? Because he knew that, you know, that was a big gap in his team that he needed to try and fill. And of course, that gap was opened again when Nigel decided to cut. But
so you're saying it has not been filled now?
Well, no, they have attempted to fill it now, and the person who's filled it, Favor, you know, is competent in the field of finance. She's a very well qualified person in that era. But of course, as a politician and as Minister of Finance, it's less about technical skill, you know, and more about communications and interpersonal skills. Now, the jury is out on whether she has that. I don't think she has that personally, having seen how she operates. Whereas I think Dr. Clark, was a skilled propagandist in his own right, you know, and brought that to the table in carrying the message for his party quite effectively.
Let's talk a little bit about finance, comrade leader. And